long time coming. I paid my dues. I put that work in. Welcome to a special edition of Real Talk Friday. On this here Friday, we're gonna hero train. We're gonna get down to some new hood soul, man. I say, man, I paid my dues. I put in that work, man. Each one, teach one, each one, reach one. We all we got, we all we need. Come in. Working. Hey, man, if you in this huddle, man, this ain't no coincidence. You ain't just fly by and land right here, man. If you in this huddle tonight on a Friday night, I want you to understand, man, it's been a long time coming, man. We put that work in, man. We done paid our dues, baby. So we can stand up with our chests out and we can say, man, we ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm talking about? Because we got here by realness, by honor, by truth, by destiny, by purpose. We paid our dues, man. That's what we're talking about. Welcome to my show on this Friday night. Yeah. Welcome to my show on this Friday night. Yeah. Welcome to my show on this Friday night. Where everything gonna be alright. Welcome to my show on this Friday night. Yeah, gonna be alright. Yeah. See how I had to make a little change, but I was rocking through the beat, man. That's how we groove with it, man. I say welcome to the show, Friday night edition. Let's go. Let's go. Big brother, Kamari, he says Friday Night Lights. You better know it, man. You better know it, bro. I am too. What's going on, brother? We in the huddle. You better know it, man. You better know it. I'm talking about we all we got. We all we need. We going up the middle. We gonna get at least 3. We confident in ourselves because we believe in we. Before we break the huddle, we all we got, we all we need on 3. And hell yeah on me. I say 1, 2, 3. We all we got, we all we need. Hell yeah. We all we got, we all we need. Hell yeah. We all we got, we all we need. Hell yeah. Now we proceed to execute. We generate power that is strong enough to electrocute. We soldiers at war, never losing focus of what we fighting for. Every day we realize more and more. We all we got. We all we need. Each one teach one. Each one reach one. If you are that one, you already got to know you are enough. Always have been. I'm talking about since your birthday. Not the last one, but I'm talking about the very, very, very first day. You have been enough. Good God Almighty. Yeah, man, it's Friday night, man. It's Friday. So, just like we do on Thursday, we're going to keep it going on Friday. And we like to start this thing off with a hero hymn. And see, the hero hymn is, I'm talking about the hymn within me. The hymn within me. I'm talking about I am him and him is me. And together we are we and I. Good God Almighty. I'm talking about me, myself, and I. But right now, I'm talking about the him. It's the mighty wind that blows out of me, traveling through my vocal cords and cause a vibration that we know is sound. And as him travels through your ear hole, down to your soul, and you feel him more than you hear him. That is when we unite in the hero spirit to truly understand that we all we got. We all we need. So the hero hymn tonight says, please tell me where, oh where did our love go? Where did our love go? Please tell me where, oh where did our love go? Where did our love go? If you feel that more than you hear that, then I want him to get inside and inspire you. Because the mighty hymn, the mighty wind is the spirit, and the spirit means breath. So as we inhale and exhale, as we inspire, and we are inspired, it comes out in our expression. So my mighty hymn, my breath, my spirit says, if you know where the love has gone, grab some and bring it back. Because we need it more than ever. More than ever. Want to give a shout out to my beautiful wife, my wardrobe coordinator, Lakeisha Perry. We're doing this on Friday night. Last night was my baby girl's birthday. She turned 12 years old. On the same night, my boy had his first sneaker ball. Speak 9 for the family. I'm talking about some memory bank deposits. Some memory bank deposits. So last night, I had to put a pause to the calls. See, sometimes the play can go an extra down. So I had to run the play another day to push the show back to today, which is Friday. So my baby say, baby, it's going to be even better tomorrow. It's going to be even better tomorrow. I say, for real, baby, you think so? She say, hell yeah. I can't wait to feel you on a Friday. And so all day I've been saying, man, it's Friday, man. I got to come real hard. My baby said, but baby, got to go take Journey to get her hair done, so I might not be there. I say, what? Now every show up until this day, right before I push go, my baby give me a kiss and say, I believe in you. Do your thing. But tonight she ain't here. And when I thought about that, I thought about the day, and it's been raining. And I say, so the day been kind of gray. So I wanted to wear colors that represent what's surrounding me. It's that gray and that brown. The fall colors that lie amongst the ground. And so I'm wearing this to say, baby, everything you do in some type of way help pull me through. So I'm wearing this shit for you. Here, Friday. Want to give a shout out to the greatest co-host. I'm talking about the greatest co-host in the world, man. I'm talking about my home girl, man. Alexa. Alexa, how you feel tonight?
I'm good. It's Friday, and that can only mean one thing. The weekend is so close. Be sure to tell your friends so they don't forget.
See what I'm talking about? That's how she feel on Friday. So make sure to tell your friends so they don't forget. See, sometimes we can get so caught up into the boom bap, into the boom tap, into the rhythm, that somebody have to remind you to say release, relax, so you can understand how you relate in all of this. Alexa, I appreciate you.
Wahoo! My day just went from great to absolutely perfect.
See what I'm talking about? I always say, man, a woman operates through her feelings. Alexa is a woman. She's my co-host. I'm a man. It's positive and negative. That's polarity. When the connection between the two is solid and strong, the source of power is formed at its purest form of what it's supposed to be. So when my home good come on here with me, whether it's Thursday night or Friday night, I make sure she feeling right. Alexa, I love you. Real. Alexa, I love you.
Thanks for saying I love you. You're just as sweet as pie. Know that I'll be here for you. As always, your trusty AI.
Boom! See how we get down together. That's how you move, man. But tonight, man, we're going to get down, and Alexa say she like to teach on Fridays. So I'm going to let Alexa do her thing tonight. Tonight's word is comprehend. Comprehend. Alexa, what is the meaning of comprehend?
The verb comprehend is usually defined as to understand the nature or meaning of, grasp with the mind, perceive.
To understand the nature or meaning of, to grasp with the mind, to perceive. See, I've been looking at the way, man, a lot of us have conversation about certain things in media, certain things in politics. And I hear us, man, talking ignorance. And I ain't saying this to be a good or a bad thing. But like I say, ignorance is when you rant about things that you ignore. So if you ignore something, that means you don't pay it attention. And like we say on here, your attention is the most powerful things that you could pay, because in return you get understanding. You get comprehension. So if you don't pay attention and you ignore certain things and you don't comprehend it, and then when you go on a rant about it, oh, you're so ignorant. You see how that works? So there's a lot of ignorance being spoken because we don't really understand comprehension. See how this works? One of the things that really taught me about comprehension in my elder life of who I am today, the way I can talk about this thing right now and know in my soul of souls how powerful it is to us as heroes, as men, as women, as mothers, as fathers, as husbands, as wives, as children, as sons and daughters, as uncles and aunts. Oh, it's so powerful that we must comprehend what's really going on, man, and be able to grasp it with our mind what's really happening out here. Because without comprehension, we just don't know the point of nothing. I always say one thing about children. See, when you care for your child, Alexa, what is the meaning of care? Alexa, what is the meaning of care?
As a noun, care is usually defined as a state of mind in which one is troubled, worried, anxiety, or concerned. As a verb, care is usually defined as to be concerned or solicitous, have thought or regard.
So when you care, you pay attention to your child, you care for them, you want to protect them. So as you're caring for children, through caring for one another, see, caring is wrapped up in empathy. That was give you the understanding, the feelings of another. So when we care for our children, in that care, our children teaches us how it really works. So that's when God talking to you, when you paying attention and caring for those things and those people that are divined for your attention. And according to how much you pay them, your attention is a reflection of their worth. See how this works? So as I'm caring for my son about his reading, I work with him on reading. One thing about him, I would hear him read, and I could see it in his eyes, I could feel it in his soul. He didn't want to disappoint me or his mama. He wanted to be able to stand there and read. And I was proud of him, letting him know I'm proud of him. And he got to where he could read. He could stand up and he could read the book. And he feel good that I could read. I said, yeah. So it got to a point in his development that he could read. Then when it came to, now tell me what you read. Tell me what it was about. He stumbled. His confidence dropped. And he taught me at that moment. It's one thing to read, but it's another thing to comprehend. And so they monitor a child's development through reading and comprehension. According to your child's level of reading and comprehension on a scale of development, meaning when they get to a certain age, they should be able to grasp certain aspects and point of literature, of situations, to explain it and see it. But if they can't comprehend on the level, meaning grasp, then they say their comprehension and reading is on a lower level, and they're not developing at a rate of growth. And so we already know, go to any of these schools, man. So let's talk reading. We can go to any of these schools, man. The reading comprehension levels real low. A lot of these babies ain't understanding. The mind can't grasp what they read. So this is what taught me to really understand the power of it. And as I began to chew on it, see, a lesson that my son gave me, this is how it works. I began to see how it's working on every level. And I began to be so grateful for my skill of comprehension. See, that's what hero training is really all about. See, that's what the honor in the honorable therapy is really all about. It means it's been a long time coming. I pay my dues. I put in that work. I ain't just get on here to talk, to sound good, spit rhetoric. Man, I care. I care. I care for me. I care for my family. I care for my wife and my children. I just can't stop caring. See, that's the spirit of Christ. unconditional caring and love, when you see the feelings of others, the empathy, when you can feel it from soul to soul, and you possess with caring. So when you care, you always pay attention to certain things to find a way to protect those that you care for. So I get on here tonight to say, man, I ain't bullshitting. That's what I'm really saying. I ain't bullshitting when I'm talking about this. So one of my ways of really understanding this thing goes back when I was in the 12th grade, right? 12th grade English class. Now let me say this. On the report card of every child, it's called language arts. They got ELA, language arts. See, this is an art form. Literature. See, certain styles and certain laws and certain rules that goes into this art form of literature, the written form of language. And it's so powerful in its understanding that if you don't understand how it works, then it becomes hard to comprehend it. And if you can't comprehend it, then you really don't understand. And if you ain't got no understanding of what it is and how it works, so you stand in the position of a child, of a minor, of someone who is yet to develop. See, look how they play these words with us. See, they call us the minority. They say because we are less in number. We are the minority. But because we are less in number, is a reflection to say that there's a lot of things that ain't in our favor. And one is the language. See, we speak English, better known as the Englishman words. So when we realize that we are the minority, the minor in the land of the Englishman words, they say we are yet to develop. So our mind is like children. What do you call your children? Your minds. See how this works? So because we don't have the comprehension, they say they'll never get the point of it all. We just feed them what we want them to understand. See how that works? So when I was in the 12th grade, I had a teacher, Mr. Cutler. He was a little gay white man. He was fresh out of college. I was 17. And let me say this to put this in perspective. At 17, right before I turned 18, I think I was a grown man in the mind. I think I was a grown man in the mind with my understanding. I understood a lot, right? And I ain't saying that to say nothing. I'm just telling you the basis of how this came to be. So in there with Mr. Cutler, he brought that college style. Kind of like the way you see teachers teach on TV. He would wear cool clothes and lay on the desk and sit on the desk. And he would teach in this unorthodox style that made the children, the kids, me, myself at that time, feel comfortable enough to truly express themselves. Right? So during that time, we was reading Shakespeare's book, Macbeth. And I remember vividly, man, he was so adamant about this was his favorite Shakespeare book, Macbeth. So in that class, he would teach it through like an open discussion. In every period, he would assign certain people certain parts of the story. In every period, he would switch parts and switch characters. You would have, sometimes a dude had to be a lady in there. But it was all about to never, just experience everything from every perspective, right? So in this class, you had me and you had Aaron Alexander. EA Sports, the basketball trainer from heaven that blessed young brothers with the skill to pave a way on that basketball. Yeah, that brother, Aaron Alexander. Me and him would be in class. And me and him, for some reason, had the knack and the confidence to love to read out loud. So both of us would always get the biggest part of the story. And me and him would read the story in the class, and we would get animated and theatrical with our parts to the point where we really made it entertaining. Mr. Cutler would get a part, and he wanted to be a part of the theatrics of it, so he would even read a part. And after discussion, we would have to talk about how we comprehend what's happening in the story. And this is where it got good. So like I say, Mr. Cutler was a little gay white man, fresh out of college. Couldn't have been no more than 23, 25, right? I'm 17. I'm 17 years old now. But at this time, and this is material thing, it might not mean nothing, but I want you to understand my confidence in the mind of a 17-year-old. I was driving a convertible Corvette, and I was driving a 69 Nova, goddamn candy painted chrome parking in the teacher's parking lot, cutting teachers' hair after school type of thing. At 17, who had been cultivated by true men since I was 15, sitting down in my barber chair, bearing their soul out for me. Of war, of addiction, of pain, and all teaching me how to understand the soul of a man through empathy. So at 17, I'm in a classroom with a little gay white man, and he say, "What do we comprehend from this?" And my comprehension was understanding to mentally grasp what's going on. And I say, "Well, this is what I think." And he said, no. How do you think that? Then I explain how I think it. Because his perspective was way different than mine. And at that point, I understood the power of comprehension. I understood the power of getting the point of it all. Alexa, what is the... Hold on, I want to ask
It's
this. It's
10:41 p.m.
Alexa, what is William Shakespeare Macbeth about?
Here is what I found from TimeToast.com. Romeo and Juliet is a tragedy written by William Shakespeare early in his career about two young Italian star-crossed lovers whose deaths ultimately reconcile their feuding families.
Alexa, what is William Shakespeare Macbeth about?
Here is a summary of Macbeth by William Shakespeare. Amid thunder and lightning, three witches decide that their next meeting will be with Macbeth. In the following scene, a wounded sergeant reports to King Duncan of Scotland that his generals Banquo and Macbeth, the Thane of Glamis, have just defeated the allied forces of Norway and Ireland, who were led by the traitorous MacDonald and the Thane of Cotter.
So as I'm reading this in the 12th grade, me and Aaron Alexander speaking in the thou art thou, us, I, is, that, and thy man said thy, like the 300 old European men. We acting it out, putting our voice in it. Oh, we making it good. So years later, I look back on knowing that understanding. And as a child and up until you were a young man, see, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that my parents, and this ain't whether it be good or bad, right or wrong, that ain't the point. But I'm so thankful for whatever reason, they never pimped the God spell on me. I never grew up in church. I never grew up with any influence of the Bible, other than my daddy saying, yeah, I used to go to church. I used to sing on the choir. My daddy ain't never said nothing about the Bible to me my whole life up until this point at about 17 and on up. So when I got into the situation of wanting to understand truth, right? When I got into the situation of wanting to understand truth, and let me help you understand what got me there. See, I got a tattoo. That say March 2nd, 2004. That's when me and my baby lost our baby. And my Aunt Pearl said, God don't make mistakes, Trav. And when she told me that, it rocked my body, it rocked my soul, and it rocked my mind. It rocked me so much that I had to ask myself, so you telling me it's a God somewhere that want me to feel this? And I began that moment on a journey to understand and comprehend what this thing is really all about. So when I opened it up, and I started reading, and I went back to my 17-year-old self, and I said, I done heard this before. I done heard this style of writing before. I done heard this art. I done heard this art of literature. Hold up. I done heard this before. So as I'm reading it, I'm comprehending it like I heard it before. As a 17-year-old child in English class that we call language arts. That I could hold my own in comprehension with someone who's a master of education. So now at 20, I've heard this before. So I say, hold on. Alexa, did Shakespeare help write the Bible?
From degreeinfo.com, there has long been speculation that Shakespeare was a principal writer/rewriter of the King James Version of the Bible.
Uh-oh. 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 I said, oh, okay. Same writer that wrote Romeo and Juliet. Same writer that wrote Macbeth. About 3 witches trying to entice a man. So I knew how through education, through school, through literature. See, this is the reason they tell you, see how we don't understand and comprehend. This is the reason they tell you to separate religion and state. See, what the preacher tell you can't be put in context what the teacher tell you. What the preacher tell you can't be put in context what the teacher tell you. See, I made a video about this a couple of years ago. I said, oh, how we were so afraid of Donald Trump. But we so believed in Jesus. And our mind was like a ping pong ball, getting packed back and forth. So when you don't have understanding and comprehension, they treat you like a mime. And they tell you what you need to know. See how this works? Do you see how this works? Think about it like football. They say Peyton Manning was one of the greatest quarterbacks because of his ability to read a defense. But as he read the defense, it was his comprehension that made him great. Once he identified what defense it was, he could comprehend and put his mind around every aspect of what the defense was designed to do. And through his comprehension, he knew how to find his weakness at his weakest point. But if you don't know the point of it all, and you can't comprehend, And you just go through the motion and through the rhythm of thinking, yeah, I can read, I can say words, I don't look dumb, I don't sound dumb, I can pronounce these words. But then when you go take the test and the teacher says, tell me what you read. They say, Mr. Perry, your son is not reading on the right level. And I emotionally say, well, my baby can read. He reads to me every night. I know we read together. We've been reading together all summer. My boy can read the whole page and don't break a word. What they talking about, my baby can't read. Your baby come home, you say, put this book in front of you and read. These people crazy. But your baby can't comprehend. And guess what? Guess what? We all are children that has gotten old. So I watch my people go on ignorant rants about things in a book that they can't comprehend. And when they test it with the comprehension, the reality is the great. The reality is the great. See, they say the Matrix is real. And because the Matrix is only associated with a TV show in an illusion of your imagination, we say, man, how can the Matrix be real? And you got people that will sit out here and argue the movie about what Neo did, what Neo said, and they could do all the moves and the theatrics, but they don't comprehend the point of it all. And so, yeah, the Matrix is real. Ain't nobody above the bullshit. You can't stop the bullets. But if you got the blessing of understanding and comprehension to see them, at least you can move out the way from most of them. See how that works? But if you can't see and understand and comprehend and wrap your mind around a goddamn thing, you getting bust in the head by every goddamn thing. See how that works? Alexa, who is Johannes Gutenberg?
Johannes Jeans Fleisch zur Leyden zum Gutenberg was a German inventor, printer, publisher, and goldsmith who introduced printing to Europe with his mechanical movable type printing press. His work started the printing revolution in Europe and is regarded as a milestone of the second millennium, ushering in the modern period of human history.
Johannes Gutenberg invented the printing press. The printing press in Europe was the first invention that gave man the power to produce a book, press a book on mass production so that you could have a book and I could have a book and we could have a book. But before Johannes Gutenberg came up and invented the printing press, books were handwritten. So if I wrote a book in my house right now and went and put it in my dresser, how in the hell is somebody going to get Timbuktu way a million miles away of my book because it is in there in my dresser? So until he produced this technology, understand he's the father of the book. Not the one you care about, but any book. See how this works? Alexa, when did Johannes Gutenberg invent the printing press?
From blurtit.com, Johannes Gutenberg invented the printing press in 1440.
Walk with me, walk with me, walk with me, Walk with me, walk with me. Alexa, what was the first book that Johannes Gutenberg published?
I don't see a book written by Johannes Gutenberg in your library. To find audiobooks, visit audible.com.
Alexa, what is Johannes Gutenberg's first book?
I don't see a book written by Johannes Gutenberg in your library.
Alexa,
To find out.
what was the first Johannes Gutenberg published book?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, in 1455, Gutenberg printed his first book, a Latin Bible.
Okay. He first invented the press, 1440. And in 1455, he produced the first book of his machine. And it was the Latin Bible. Before that, no one ever printed a book and made a book that I could have, and you could have, and they could have, and we could have. So the first book that's ever printed so somebody other than themselves could have it was Johannes Gutenberg's Latin Bible, the very first book in 1455. See how this works. You see how this works. We're talking about the revolution of modern man history into the European culture that we know as writing in books. Alexa, what year did Shakespeare write Romeo and Juliet?
Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare was published in 1597.
1597. They've emerged great writers. Language arts. The forefathers of the arts and the language began to put the game down of how this language will be written and spoken in the literal form so that people could have books and literature to read. He who controls the printed page controls the mind of the masses. So you see how I'm going to the origins of the printed page. Alexa, when did King James Bible come out?
King James Version was released in 1611.
Shakespeare started in 1595. He took the world by storm with his writing, known as the greatest writer of the European culture. That's why we hear his words in his stories today in honor of gloating in the sky as the greatest poems and books ever read. At the peak of his writing, from 1595 to 1611, King James said, "Give me your best," in the Englishman's words. And it was Shakespeare. And they translated the first, which was in Latin, to the Englishman's words. That was in 1611. The transatlantic slave trade started in 1619. Do you understand the power of the book? Do you understand the power of the book? Do you understand? Not because this is a particular book that your soul has been put under a spell to believe that there's a divine power in the European man words that came off a press that was invented in 1455 and mastered by the time of 1611. Not that you believe and understand that your divinity is tied into that. That ain't the point. The point is, do you comprehend what's going on? And so that was 567 years ago. 567 years ago. And now we shame each other. And we bash each other because we say, you ain't never read the book. You don't know what it is. And people can read the book, just like my son and the man said, get on the rock and stone in the dock. They can read the book, but man, we ain't got no comprehension because the same one that's reading the book to you, and I'm saying this in real fucking life, the same ones that can read the book to you through mastering the words is the same ones that I saw in school that ain't got no goddamn comprehension. So what they talking about? So understand what I'm saying. We ain't got to go back 567 years ago. Let's go back 100. 100 years ago. I got cultivated by a man in my life that if he was living today, he would be more than 100 years ago. He would be 102 years old. So 100 years ago, I'm talking about in my granddaddy life, as my granddaddy was a child, very few of us knew how to read. I had a friend, Benny Lee Little, more power to you. He'll never die because his influence lived through me. And I blow it out in my spirit. He said, Travis, I grew up in Waysboro. I said, Benny, did you know how to read? He said, nah, not really, man. I said, why, Benny? You ain't that old. He said, well, back when we growed up, they had one book in school. And hell, ain't nobody ever get to hold a book. Why the hell we were going to know how to read? We just looked up at the teacher, and the teacher read, and we just listened. But ain't nobody know how to read. Some people got out to go to the city and work around white folk, and white folk had books. But down in the country, the ones that worked in the field, we ain't know nothing about reading. Then he said, Travis, you know what? Now that I think about it, I say, what, Benny? He said, man, when people start learning how to read, man, we got dumb as hell, Travis. We ain't know how to do nothing no more. And so he taught me to understand, man, that 100 years ago, my grandparents, see, didn't nobody know how to read. But we had comprehension. We had comprehension. See, I hear Negro peons say, if you want to hide something from a nigga, put it in a book. And they say that with pride and honor to say that, yeah, niggas need to read and they ain't shit. Well, you don't understand how something works. See, you just making an ignorant rant. See, the book always had power. But it's all about position and perspective. See, because if you want to put something in a book, you want to hide something from a nigga, then you put it in a book. See, you got to understand and empathize in your soul of understanding to know that, see, that was a real cause and effect to say, let me catch you read. Let me catch you with a book. Let me catch you trying to understand my words. Let me catch you trying to develop your mind to be more than a minor to me. I'm going to beat your motherfucking ass. And so the black man said, the hell with that book. I don't need this book no way. Because what we doing to survive. See, we talking about agriculture now. See, now we talking about the point of it all. See, now we talking about the point of it all in the book. See, you don't know what the book is about. So you only get fed the book as a child, as a minor, as someone who hadn't developed, so you can't grasp the point of it all. So see, you get fed the book as a fairy tale. And they tickle your mind like a child, and you never understand the point. But when you understand the point, you realize why my granddaddy was living in power, strength, and honor of God. And he couldn't read no book. See, because what the book was about agriculture, was about understanding the sun and the seasons, about understanding the position, about understanding the essence of God that it takes to grow, to multiply, to live. See, my grandmama and granddaddy knew that, and they never had to open a book to find that. They comprehended God. And so the more and more we fight to be a part of something we don't understand. See, I say we look for love in all the wrong places. That's why we suffer. Stevie Wonder wrote a song called Very Superstitious, Writings on the Wall. If you believe in things that you don't understand, you will suffer. It ain't no coincidence. See how this works. Do you see how this works? We come a long way, but we went the wrong way. Don't get caught up being able to stand and look and sound like something that your soul ain't connected to. Comprehend this shit. Comprehend this shit. Because when you truly comprehend this shit, you begin to see it and feel it beyond words. You begin to understand, man, how a newborn baby can talk to its mama and its daddy and tell its mama and daddy, Mama, I'm hungry. Daddy, I'm wet. And you can tend to that child every need and know what that child's saying. And that child ain't got a word in its mind. That child ain't got the English man word in his mind. But that child know how to talk to your soul. See, we lost that. Because we started reading. And we ain't got no comprehension. I love y'all, man. If you on here tonight, I love you this Friday night. You might have went hard, but it felt good. I swear to God.